Am I thinking of the right book, or have I been reading too many books?
So far, I don't know. I don't have enough information.
Hey everyone, welcome to BYOB, the Bring Your Own Book podcast. I'm Kelly.
And I'm Nikki.
And today we are joined by our very special guest, Tilly.
Yay! I love being back.
Yes, we're so excited to have you back. It's been a while, I feel like.
Since August.
So many months.
Yeah,
August slipped away like a moment in time, as the Swifties say.
Oh my goodness.
So I guess you didn't want to join us for our Twilight reread, I guess, so we haven't seen you since we've been in Twilight.
Nobody asked me if I wanted to join the Twilight reread, and I did really love seeing the Goodreads reviews popping up, and then seeing what I had rated the Twilight books when I first read them, and I was so angry when I was a teen.
We've been in Washington for a long time, and now we're so happy to go to Greece because I was tired of the rain and the vampires, and mainly just Bella and Renesmee, honestly. So
Yeah, it was a journey, honestly. One I don't want to do for a while.
Yes, it was fun, but I'm happy to be in Greece, sort of, today. Maybe I'll explain what I'm talking about, listeners. So today we are talking about Madeline Miller's Circe, or Circe, or how do you say it, Tilly?
Sorry, I was just laughing because I was remembering Kirke. Nikki had mentioned that sometimes it's pronounced with the hard K, hard C, and I just tried it and it felt so fun.
I freaking love it. So that's what we're reading, or that's what we already read. And Nikki is going to tell us a bit more about the book before we start getting into our feelings.
Quick disclaimer, this is a judgment-free zone. All of us lead very busy lives, and maybe we're not going to pronounce these names or places the way you think they should be or they actually should be pronounced.
Probably not, to be honest.
Get over it. Because this is happening right now.
Yes, this is live.
Okay. In the house of Helios, god of the sun and the mightiest of the Titans, a daughter is born. But Circe is a strange child, neither powerful like her father nor viciously alluring like her mother. Turning to the world of mortals for companionship, she discovers that she does possess power, the power of witchcraft, which can transform rivals into monsters and menace the gods themselves. Threatened, Zeus banishes her to a deserted island where she hones her occult craft, tames wild beasts, and crosses paths with many of the most famous figures in all of mythology, including the Minotaur, Daedalus, and his doomed son Icarus, the murderous Medea, and of course, wily Odysseus. But there is danger too, for a woman who stands alone, and Circe unwittingly draws the wrath of both men and gods, ultimately finding herself pitted against one of the most terrifying and vengeful of the Olympians. To protect what she loves most, Circe must summon all her strength and choose once and for all whether she belongs with the gods she is born from or with the mortals she has come to love.
Whew, good for you, Nikki. That was such a task.
Yeah, my throat clogged up just hearing you say it, honestly.
Yeah, halfway through I was like...
My stomach gurgled so much during that. I hope it didn't pick it up.
I hope it did. Oh my god, we are so back.
It's because I inhaled ramen so quickly before this recording.
Did you? Okay.
I did chew. I chewed.
You did chew. Okay,
yes.
good.
I can't swallow pills, okay? I'm not going to swallow a noodle on purpose. Anyways, that's enough about me. This book, I feel like it's hard to even create a synopsis because there's so much in this book. But before we get into all the nitty-gritty details, Tilly, since you're our guest, why don't you go first and give us your rating?
Oh my gosh, I would love to. So we all know that I cried a lot the last time we read a Madeline Miller book. I didn't cry during this one, which is a big step for me. Thank you so much. But I did rate it 5 stars. I loved it. I felt like it was so absorbing. It like really drew me in. A fun fact for all of you is that I was in a production of the Odyssey, a theatrical production of the Odyssey in university, where I played Calypso, who is one of the other like island goddess lady. For a brief time reading Circe, I was falsely remembering that I had played Circe, and I was really excited to like find all these parallels. But then I looked back in my social media, and in fact I was Calypso, so not really that related. But I am kind of more familiar with this story than I was with like Patroclus and Achilles in the previous book. So even though I was familiar with it, I still felt like there were so many surprises for me. And I love the way Miller writes. I feel like it's always so grounded, but also like extremely epic. And it felt like timeless. Like there was all this stuff happening, and it felt like a legend in the same way that I find Tolkien's work feels like legends. Like there's just some sort of quality about her writing that I really respond to. So I loved it. I gave it 5 stars, and yeah, I thought it was just absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I totally agree. I guess I'll just go then because I totally
Okay, yeah.
I also gave it a 5 out of 5, and oddly enough, I did cry at the end. I'm not a big crier.
Yeah.
I can probably count on one hand how many books have made me cry, and I could just feel it building. And then when it got to the last chapter, I just surrendered, and I just sobbed. And then Scott came out, and he was like looking at me, and I was like, I finished my book. That's how it always goes. I finished my book.
Yeah,
and he was
there.
like, do you need a hug? I said, yes. And I said, but I'm happy, but I'm sad, you know, like.
Yeah.
And when I went to start this book, I was a little nervous because it had been so long since I'd read anything by Madeline Miller, and I've been reading a lot of fantasy lately and romance, and I was just like, I'm tired. Am I going to be able to get through this? Because I know it's going to be more lyrical, and I don't know the story. But I had a great time, and I sectioned off the book into chunks just in case, but then I ended up finishing it early because I just loved it so much. And every time I was reading it, I was totally in it to win it. Like, I loved every bit. I loved learning about all the different side characters who I recognized from other things, characters I had no clue who they were. I had a great time. 5 out of 5. I think it's probably my favorite out of all of her stuff I've read. So, yeah. Nikki?
So I also give this book 5 out of 5.
Yay.
Very good. I did not cry. Well, I teared up a little bit at the end, the last chapter. But yeah, same as Tilly. During Song of Achilles, I feel like every time there was dialogue, I was crying for some reason. Yeah. Something about that book really did something to me. And while Circe was still just as beautiful, I feel like I said this in our episode on Babel. This book is just, you can't argue. This book is a 5 out of 5 book. Whether you really enjoyed the book or not, it's a masterpiece. So yeah, I don't know. I really enjoyed it. I'm excited to talk more in depth about the stuff that happens. I knew a lot of the characters individually, but I did not know anything about how they all tied together. No. So that was really cool to see the arc of her story.
Yeah, and like there's just so many moving parts in this book, because with Song of Achilles, we're focusing on one story, obviously, and we are still focusing on Circe's story, but like I'm no expert, you know what I mean? So I don't know Circe's story. So her story is really like the sum of a lot of people's stories, I feel like. So because we got like snippets of so many other legends or myths in this book, I was just like, oh my god, it was like the who's who of Greek mythology, honestly.
Yeah,
totally. they were all connected. And I think that's true, Nikki. Like, I was also crying a lot in every dialogue of Song of Achilles. And I think part of it is that it felt hopeless from the start in Song of Achilles. Like, we knew how it was going to end.
Yeah.
And this one felt hopeful, I felt, even though, like, right from the start when she's got this, like, terrible, isolated life in Helios's court, it's still, I don't know, I struggled at first because I was like, am I supposed to like Circe? Is she a good character? I don't know yet. But I couldn't deny, like, my attachment to her. And I was so glad that things worked out at the end. I did get tearful, a little tearful, but not, they didn't break the seal
Right.
of crying.
I think what makes this book really different from Song of Achilles, too, is Circe really felt more like it could have been vignettes. Especially after the beginning, when you hear about her childhood and that kind of stops, and then you hear about her and Glaukos and that stops, her and Hermes and that stops. They're very sectioned out, so every time you're going into a new phase of her life, it could have been a totally different situation, and you just had to read that part to find out. So I think that's why I wasn't as attached as I was to Song of Achilles, because the moments were so much shorter than the whole book.
Yeah.
And so much time passed in between too. Like, it was truly over centuries. Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, and I think, like, for the majority of the book, I feel like Circe is really just a witness to other people's stories. So we're, like, we're seeing her perspective of other people's stories, or, like, she's watching the things unfold around her, whether it's, like, at her father's court or wherever. But, like, until she gets moved to the Isle of, we're gonna say, Ayaya? I'm not sure. The island?
Yes.
When she gets exiled, that's when we get to bear witness to her story, and she becomes more of the captain of the ship, if you will, I guess, because, like, yeah, for a lot of it, she's just kind of bearing witness to a lot of things. And at first I thought, like, am I gonna be bored through this? Like, I don't know, like, when I went to pick the book up, because I didn't know her. I don't know what she's done or what she did or whatever. And a lot of it was just kind of like learning about everyone around her. But when she got exiled, she was like, what am I going to do? And then she thought, whatever the fuck I want, you know? So
Yeah, no, I think that's so insightful, Kelly, because I do think, like, she had so much agency after she was exiled, because she wasn't under anybody's shadow anymore. And it was just like this new power had awoken in her. Like, maybe I don't have divine power, but maybe I can, like, make things, and maybe I can, like, mold the world, my little world, the way I want it to, because there's nobody else that I have to impress. There's nothing else to do. So I'm just gonna, like, make my own little paradise. And it was really, I love Robinson Crusoe. So I read like Swiss Family Robinson when I was, like, at a very impressionable age. So I love it when people are just, like, on a desert island and they gotta figure shit out. And that was a lot of the middle part of the book. So that was really fun for me.
what a book. Just, I mean, not to exclude half the population, but, like, this truly, I feel like every woman needs to read this book. Like, every women present, or I don't know how you say it, everyone who does not identify as a man needs to read this book, I feel like, because it is just, like, I feel like when she's younger and the way she's being treated, and then when she goes to the island after she's exiled, I just feel like it's relatable to a lot of people, I'm sure, but it's like, you know, she had this power within her for so long that she had no idea, because it was being tamped down by all these men around her, you know? I feel like anyone who's been oppressed needs to read this book. Really. Not women. Anyone who's been oppressed, period, needs to read this book, I feel like, because she had all this power within that she had no clue. And because she is who she is, she has the luxury of time and in her exile to do what she wants, to really nurture that side of her and just, like, come into her own. And it was so much fun to watch it happen.
It was also really nice to see that after her pining for Glaukos and him wanting Skyla and her getting her ultimate revenge on Skyla because that's dope.
Oh yeah.
She really didn't waste any time in fretting over men or wanting somebody else to pine for her. She talks, well, her next kind of relationship is with Hermes, and she says, he was nothing to me, I wasn't anything to him, we would lay together, and then he would leave, and that was it, and that was fine with me. And I just felt like, you go, girl, you do what you want to do, don't let these men like fool with you, hold you down, and you just keep living your good life. And I like that she didn't tell Odysseus that she was pregnant. She was just like, this child is for me, not for you. So you can leave and you can go back to your wife that you want to be with, and I will have my child.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Yeah.
Speaking of like all this woman empowerment, I don't know, did your copy of the books have a conversation with Madeline Miller at the back? Because
yes, but I did not read it because I was too upset. So I just put
That's
it
totally
down.
fine. I'm gonna break out a highlight for you, which is there was a question about how solitude could be important to Circe's growth, and Madeline Miller says a lot of what we've been talking about. So it's just like extremely validating for us in this moment. So I'm just gonna read it to you.
Sure.
So she says, Circe comes from a society and a family that is constantly controlling, dominating, and directing her. I think the only antidote to that is solitude, a space away from the constant pressure to conform so she can discover who she actually wants to be. As Virginia Woolf notes, in a room of one's own, that sort of separation is artistically clarifying and vital for women in particular.
Nice.
Yes. I feel like I just
It's
went
so
through
true.
this phase. Yeah. Like in my own
Yeah.
life. I mean,
Yeah.
I just turned 30
Woohoo.
and yeah. And, but like I've been doing that a lot, I feel like. And it's true. Like you need time away to figure out what you want and who you are, because no matter what anyone's intentions were, whether they were good or bad, they have a lasting impression, right? Like everything that they teach you, they show you, they have a lasting impression, and you're just trying to figure out who you are. And so like that's why I'm like, I feel like women need to read this book, because I connected from the beginning to Circe, and I just was like, you know, spoiler alert, I'm not a nymph or a naiad or any of those things. I'm
You're
not a
not?
goddess. No,
Oh my
maybe
God,
some
could
people
fool
might
me.
think I am,
Yeah.
but I'm not. But like, I just think it's such a relatable journey, and that totally makes sense that she said that, and I'm like, oh, it makes so much sense. It's just so moving, you know? And I was like, how many times have we said that we want to just like move into the woods, you know, like be alone in a cabin?
Honestly,
Yeah.
just give me that hobbit life.
Yes.
And there's all these interesting ideas too about witches in particular, because as we all know, witches have often been like persecuted and on the outskirts of society, not because they necessarily pose a threat, but that they have power of their own, right? That like other people perceive to be threatening, like the people in power perceive to be threatening. And it was so cool that Circe is just like, yeah, I just my power is like plants and like my will. That's what it's all about, and like that's great.
Oh my God. The part, it was near the end where she was talking to Penelope, and Penelope was like,
Love Penelope.
yes, she was like, she kind of scared me at first, and we'll talk about her later, but she was like, oh, I don't think I can do witchcraft. And she was like, you just need to have will, and we both have it. You know what I mean? Because she said something about like, I know that you have will because we've both had to use it in the past, and we both know what that means. Like there's an like unspoken truth that we know that your son just can't relate to, or my son can't relate to, whatever. And it's just heartbreaking, but also empowering at the same time. You know?
Yeah.
How
Absolutely.
did you two feel about Penelope and oh God, what's her son's name? Now I'm gonna forget.
Telemachus? Or Telemachus?
Yes. How did you two feel about them? I was terrified at first.
I wanted Penelope and Circe to fall in love and say fuck off to Odysseus, who super sucks.
Honestly.
It turns out.
Yeah.
Yep.
Shocker.
But I was still happy with the outcome, that they became friends and like kind of that they respected each other. I don't know if I loved that she like fell in love and ultimately ended up with Odysseus's son. I feel like I could have done without that ending, but what can we do? We can't change mythology.
Well, I mean, you can, but
Well, I don't know if that's actually accurate. P.S. Maybe they don't end up together in real life. I don't know. Not in real life. In mythology life.
well, I don't know. I wasn't there.
It could have been real life.
Yeah.
It could have been real life. You're so right. You're so right.
Yeah, I don't know if I have like many thoughts about her and Penelope. When Telegonus showed up with Penelope and Telemachus, I was like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah.
What
was
the
a
sweet
lot.
what the sweet fuck. And I was definitely with the vibes that Circe was getting, saying, you know that he's gonna kill you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I'm glad he didn't, but at the same time, I was like, yeah, Telegonus, whatever. How fucking stupid are you?
Freaking idiot.
But he's so young, so sheltered.
Yeah.
And well, that's the thing too, when Athena came and was like, hey, Telemachus, and he was like, no, and she goes, okay, Telegonus, and he was like, yeah, and I was like, this sounds like a bad idea.
Yes.
That was shocking to me, because like that plot twist was set up so well, where I didn't even expect. I was worried about other things. I was worried about Telemachus killing him, like we were just talking about.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then it's like, oh my god, it's Athena is taking, and nobody could have planned. Like it just happened. Oh my god.
Yeah. I mean, when she showed up and when Telemachus said no, I knew that Circe's son was going to go, because he was just raring to go.
He was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I wanted Penelope and Circe to become like sisters, basically, and like live on the island together and just just kill all the sailors who came by together.
Absolutely. And, like
Yeah.
maybe they did after this. We don't know.
Maybe, I don't know. But like, I, oddly enough, was not weirded out by her getting with Telemachus. And I think,
I liked it.
yeah.
I liked it ultimately, but when I thought about it more, I was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But-
I didn't think about it too much, which is odd for me, because usually I'm like, ow. Like, usually you cannot get anything by me. But I was just like, she's not a human. She's like crazy old, So at that point, it's like, whatever, And I mean, in Greek mythology, everyone was with everybody. And she was talking about, who said it earlier, where they were like, are you going to get with your, am I thinking of the right book, or have I been reading too many books?
So far, I don't know. 'Cause I don't have enough information.
Oh, no, it was true. At the beginning of the book with her brother, people were being like, oh, are you going to get with your brother? You're going to be one of those kind of nymphs or whatever. Right. And she was like, no. Her family fucking sucked, okay?
Absolutely. They were not really a family. They were more like, they're kind of like, okay, I've never watched Keeping Up with the Kardashians, but they're like what I assume the Kardashians are like, which is that they're all just like hungry for their own power, and they're all just like looking out for themselves, and they happen to be related by blood, but I don't know if they have like any familial inclinations in that way. Now, I'm sorry if that's not the case with the Kardashians. That's just my imagination.
Yeah.
I would say that is the, like, unless you watch the show, that is definitely how the Kardashians come off. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would agree.
I've only
But like a
seen
powerful
couple.
family. It doesn't have
Yeah.
to be the Kardashians.
Yeah.
But that's the vibes of Helios and his family. Like they're
like
all
the royal
a million
family.
years old. Yeah, and they're like
Yes.
they got their own stuff going on. They're only thinking about themselves.
Yeah. Eat or be eaten.
One of
Yeah.
the things that really stuck out to me, and I thought about it the whole way through the book, when she goes to help her sister Pasiphae give birth, and she's like, you and Persis were so close, and she goes, you have no idea what I had to do for him.
Yeah.
And I was just shocked because thinking back on it, of course, he was a little fucking gremlin piece of shit.
Yeah.
Yep.
But the whole time you're just thinking about how shitty Pasiphae is too. And then when you see that she's also a victim in all of this, but she just chose to handle it in a completely different way. And honestly, probably the way that a lot of people would have handled it. I feel like that makes so much sense, to be so bitter and hard and cold to people if you're being abused like that. But
to like build that armor around yourself.
Yeah, because I was like, holy shit.
Yeah. Honestly.
Yeah, that was a real good plot twist moment as well.
Her siblings were terrible. Her parents were terrible. Her aunt
awful.
seemed pretty cool. I wanted more time with the aunt. I don't remember
Which
her
aunt?
name. The like under the water lady.
Oh, I think, was that her grandmother?
Yeah.
Or her great aunt or something?
Oh,
It was her grandmother, but I can't remember. I don't know if she ever said the name. I think she just said...
The grandmother.
I thought it was her
Well,
aunt. Well, that lady.
Speaking of underwater stuff, that scene where she goes and gets the fin from like the extremely Trigon, the extremely ancient like Leviathan god. Whoa, that part freaked me out, but I
Yeah.
was also so into it.
I have a fear of things in water,
Yeah.
which I think is not uncommon.
No.
But when she's walking down and she says, I stepped and a minnow came out, and I just felt like, ew. And the further she went down and the more she talked about the things that were happening down there, I just felt like, is this kid worth it? Is he worth it? You really think? You think he's really gonna be something? Because you could go back up right now. Enough said.
Oh my god. No, but I understand why you're scared. There could be a Leviathan down there on our ocean.
Right?
We don't know enough about the bottom of the ocean. We know more
Yeah.
about outer space than the bottom of our oceans, and that's freaky to me.
Yep.
But it was very cool that she was like ready to make that sacrifice for her son, ready to be like pierced by the poison, and then it turned out like that was actually just a test. The fact that you were going to do it, here you go. You deserve it. Wow.
Yeah.
Boom, bitch. Phenomenal woman.
Yeah, and then I was waiting for that poisonous fin to come into play.
I was terrified. I was like, you're just gonna give that to your son and he's gonna take it to Odysseus, like this psycho, like war hungry man? Are you serious? And then he died from it. So I was like, okay, great. But I was scared the whole time. I was like, you need to get rid of that thing. You need to get rid of it.
Yeah,
and
give
when
it
she
back
kept it
from whence it came.
Yes,
Yeah.
I was like, put it in the water. You know, like,
Yeah, I really wasn't expecting it to be put back by them just getting in a little boat accident, you know?
Yeah.
I thought she was going to go down there and deliver it to him. But she's
No.
thinking, "Oh, your tail's on its way back." How do you know? How do you know where that
Right?
fucking tail's going? You don't. You have
Trigon's
no
like,
idea. It
great.
could just be floating around wherever.
Yeah, Trigon's like, I gave my tail to this lady. I don't know where it is. I don't know if she's gonna
Oh,
bring
he's
it back.
fine. He's 1 billion years old.
His ass is leaking like poison for the rest of his life, and none of
that
his
was
friends
something-
want to come over. Like,
I didn't really understand how big it was.
same.
Maybe it regrew. I'm just going to read one more quote from Madeline Miller's conversation at the end because it was so good.
Okay.
And this kind of like really illuminated some things for me too, because it was like so much of the book was very ruminative and like very much like contemplating things, and it wasn't very action driven. Like there were some very exciting action scenes, but a lot of it was more like in her own head and kind of like doing like not very glamorous things,
Yeah.
which I liked. And so Miller says, I also deliberately included things that have been shut out of epic because they are considered traditionally female, like parenting or like crafts and childbirth. And I thought like that's makes so much sense. Like she was using this kind of like domestic traits to kind of like re-examine, like point the lens on these more traditionally feminine traits, and it like super worked for me. And it felt like it was kind of elevating the epic. It wasn't all just about like bloodshed and like action and like destruction, but it was also about like creation and like nurturing and tending to things and helping people grow, which I think she was a really good parent in that way. So
Yeah.
I just wanted to share that because I really loved it.
Yeah, and I mean the birth scene with the Minotaur,
that was intense.
Yeah, you're like Odysseus, you couldn't do that. Shut the fuck up. You know what I mean?
I know.
Are you kidding me? Again, another book where I'm just like, childbirth sounds terrifying. I know I'm not going to give birth to a Minotaur or a half vampire, Bella, but like shit, you know?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, there was a
man.
lot of pointy stuff happening with the Minotaur birth too. I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But her sister,
dreadful.
what was it?
Her sister was a witch.
Am I wrong?
What are we referencing?
You haven't heard that meme?
Wait, what meme?
We're gonna send it to you. Her sister was a witch, right? It's about it's a Wizard of Oz, the Wicked Witch of the West, and she's like, she's a princess. He's trying to argue that she's a princess.
She comes
Oh
down
my
in
God.
a bubble.
You're gonna tell
Sounds adorable.
me. We're gonna send it to you. It's hilarious.
Okay, perfect.
It's
I would
so
love
short.
to watch it.
It's
I would
so
love
good.
to be included.
But like her sister was awful, and when she was giving birth, she was even more awful. But can we really blame her? Because
No, she had a lot
Hello.
going on in that moment. Yeah.
but can anyone remind me why she did that? What happened? It was something to do with the man, Daedalus, right?
No, so she was curious about the bull, the
The big white bull.
Yeah.
The divine white bull.
that was on the beach.
Mm-hmm.
And so Daedalus made her a lady bull suit so she could get close to the bull, and the bull fucked her in the lady bull
and
suit.
she was like a willing participant.
Oh,
in it.
yeah. She was about it.
Yeah.
And then she wanted to like carry the child because I think she knew there was something special about it. Like I think there was like either a prophecy or some sort of, she knew that it was like her claim to fame.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then freaking
yeah.
poor Ariadne being like, my
So
brother.
sad. I know.
He's my brother. And I was like, he is not your brother.
He's gonna kill you.
I understand that you were a child, but Jesus Christ, woman.
There's a book about Ariadne, I think by Jennifer Saint, if I'm not wrong. But
I literally just clicked on it on Goodreads
yeah,
as we were talking about this.
It's been on my list for a while, and now I'm like, do I want to read it? Because I know she dies. I know they all do, but like...
Yeah, I was going to say, to be fair, that's probably the thing you could count on the most when you read things about
Okay,
this, is
but
they're
can
going
I-
to die.
You guys are going to laugh at me so hardcore because I thought I misremembered. Shock. I thought Circe got with the Minotaur. I thought this was like, because at the back of the book it says something about her and the Minotaur, and I was just like, oh, she falls in love with this like this monster, and people shunned her because they didn't like her. So she like, it's just like they both have
Enemies
this,
to lovers.
well, not even. I thought it was like people hate me too. You know, like
Beauty and the Beast. It's got all the rom-com tropes.
tale
Yeah.
as old as time. That's what I
Amen.
thought. I was. So when I started reading it, I was like, wait, she delivered the baby. I don't think they're gonna get together.
Although you never know, because
True.
time she passes.
Yeah.
Well, he did pass away before they could rekindle any
Yeah.
kind of feeling.
Well, I don't actually think any of that was happening. It might have all been in your mind. But I do love that you shared it with us.
I do like that her and Daedalus got down.
Yes.
Yeah, I loved him. He gave me like Aragorn vibes.
Oh, yes.
Like the scarred hands and like the kind of like gruff, but like a good man.
Oh,
you know,
and
like a
how
good
nice
man.
he was to Icarus. And he says, I'm
Yeah.
trying to be father and mother to him, but I know that he's lacking. And I just felt, oh,
Oh, and a moment I definitely did tear up is when she was talking about Daedalus, and she said something about like we are constellations, and like our souls like touched in this like constellation of, I don't know what the quote is, but it was really beautiful.
Yeah.
And their souls dipped close to each other in that moment, and I was like,
I kind of wish she had had his child, honestly.
I know.
Like,
Odysseus, like, boo.
He was
Yeah.
the worst.
I don't know why I was picturing him as a very short Jon Snow.
What?
Oh, that kind of works.
Yeah, I don't know. Grumpy looking, but his legs were almost comically short in my mind. Because she did reference him as being stout one or two
Like
times.
bow-legged.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Makes sense. He's always at war. And
Yeah.
you know what? I don't know much about the Odyssey. But I remember you're going to be like, obviously this is Kelly because you know me. But I was like, in school, I don't know if it was grade 12 or university, but I remember hearing a bit about it and thinking, wait a second. You're telling me he goes off to war for like 10 years. He comes back and then he immediately goes right back out and his wife just sits at home and waits. And my teacher was
weaves.
like, sorry?
She weaves.
Yeah, well, they didn't say that to me at the time. They're just like, yeah, she's just at home. And I'm like, you're telling me that's what happened? And she just stays? And I'm like, yeah. And I was like, this is stupid. Like, are you stupid? Are you kidding me? If that was my husband, I'd be like, bye. Actually, no, I wouldn't be like, bye. I'd be like, I thought you were dead, so I went off with this hunky guy, okay? And now we have like a flock of sheep, and we're making wool, and I am weaving and doing all sorts of things, you know?
I just
kidding
don't
me?
understand how she's the queen of Ithaca. There's the prince of Ithaca, and all these men come into the castle and they can't make them leave?
I know. The
What?
audacity.
Yeah.
Men. Am I right?
Mm-hmm.
I know.
Just,
I know. It's infuriating.
pretty much every man, except for like 3 in this book, I was just like, I hate everyone. I hate you, and I don't trust you, and I hope Circe gets you. You know, like in the end, she gets you.
Oh, it was really satisfying when she turned those fuckers into pigs the first time.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, every time it was satisfying, but
Yeah.
the first time especially. Ooh.
Yeah.
What a truly terrifying and so upsetting part of the book, though, honestly. Like,
Yeah, it was upsetting.
because she was like, that was her awakening in a way, you know, because she loved mortals and she just wanted to do anything to help them. And she was so excited. She's like, I've got this place all to myself. I'm going to do some good work here, and they're going to be so thankful. And, you know, unfortunately, I'm sure we all read it and felt like, uh-oh, no,
Yeah.
this is not going to go well because, sorry, Circe, we know a lot of mortal guys and a lot of them suck. So I was like, this is not going to go well. That was so upsetting, but I am glad that, I mean, we know that she can't die like mortals can, but I was really glad that we didn't have to go through it more than once, like with more than one man, and that she was able to kill them, like, boom, right as soon as she realized, basically, you know? It was rough.
Yeah, it was rough, and it was so much about she'd never been hurt before in that way, or like never even imagined that it was like a possibility for her to like, that people would take advantage of her like kindness and her innocence.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
mean,
it was
Meanwhile,
pretty
her
rough.
sister suffered under the
Yeah.
hands of her own brother while she lived in the same castle as them,
yep.
or ocean place, or wherever the fuck they were.
Yeah.
The same building.
I know.
Well, and almost as sad, if not sadder, depending on how you think about it, is the fact that she thought, when my father hears about this, when the sun god hears about this, he's going to be enraged and he's going to come to this island. He's going to ever... Nothing happened. Just,
No, he was looking a different way.
Yeah.
Now, I was going to say, I liked at the end when she calls for him and he says, you're a disgrace. And she goes, better yet, when you name your children, don't even count me as one of them.
Yes.
And I was like, boom, bitch.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, and she plotted for so much of this book. Like, she planned her revenge on all the people who wronged her, and it was just like, ooh, so good when she got to be like, actually, I'm the one in a position of power here, and here's what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Love it.
So
Want to be
nice.
that so bad.
Honestly, I want to be Circe when I grow up.
Yeah, it'll only take us 600 years.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to be Circe, but I would really love for somebody to make a women's retreat that is based off of this, and basically everybody gets their own cabin and you don't have to look at anybody else, and you just get to be by yourself and people bring you food.
Yes.
But
Can
you don't
we
see them. They just drop
pay
it off at your
someone
door and
to
ring a
just
bell,
do that?
right? Wouldn't that be dope?
Yes.
Can we do it together though?
Yes.
Yes.
We'll each get our own like really big room.
And then we can like hang out when we want to, and then
Yeah.
we can be like, okay, time for quiet time.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Yep.
Yeah.
I would love
I'll learn
that.
how to weave.
Yeah, there
I'm
has
trying
to be
learn
a
how to
loom in
crochet.
every building.
It's hard. The thing that pissed me off the most about that's a very good idea, but back to Penelope and Odysseus, is that like Penelope loved him.
Yeah.
Like, she loved him so much, and he loved her so much, and I don't really think he deserved to be loved by her.
Nope.
Or
course
by
not.
Circe. Or by anybody.
No. I mean, I'm sorry. How many times have we seen in books and movies and shows, commercials? The woman's a catch and the man's a dud, you know? But the woman sees what she wants to see, or like she brings out the better parts, because I'm just like, Odysseus sounds like a terrible person and there's like no real love there. And even Circe, a lot of the time she has these feelings of like, I don't know if I can fully trust him, but I really care for him. And she knows that he's a plotter and a manipulator, but also he does say a lot of honest, kind of like brutal things about his time at war. So she's like, okay, I can take that at face value. But the fact that you can't trust him all the time, that's a red flag, you know? Like,
Yeah.
but I don't know.
Also,
Yeah, I do feel like Penelope and Odysseus had like a true love, in that they like saw each other's flaws and still loved each other,
Did
like even
they,
because of
though?
it, which pissed me off.
But
I didn't want it for him.
I don't
How-
know what he was like before he went to Troy,
True.
but coming back and just hearing what we hear about him from I don't know if we hear it from Penelope, if we hear it from Telemachus, but his anger and how he would be basically kind of like a zombie, and then he would leave and come back and be happy for an evening and wake up totally distraught again. And if he would start to become kind of normal, then Athena would talk to him, all of that stuff. I just felt like I couldn't put up with that shit. I'd be like, snap out of it.
yeah. Yeah, no. And I do think Penelope was saying before he went away to war, they had all these plans. And she was like, we're going to do great things for Ithaca. I'm going to work on the economy and this and that, and he's going to work on the army. But he didn't value what she did because he didn't find it exciting or something. And so that's
Right.
why, Tilly, I'm just like, did he love her? I don't know.
Right.
Because I don't know
But
if he did. I don't know him.
I think that's what a lot of men see love is, though. You know, men don't typically, even now, value what their female partners have to say or what they're contributing in life. Like, you could work the same job, but his job's harder, and he's more tired at the end of the day, etc. You know?
Man colds.
That's yeah. It's sad, but that's kind of how it is.
Seriously.
And I mean, back then, I guess that's how everybody was, and there wasn't social media. So you couldn't be like, girl, I feel you.
I wish they could. That's why I wanted Penelope and Circe to like find common ground together, which I think they did.
Yeah.
But I wanted them to fall in love because I
Yeah.
think they could have completed each other in that way.
Right.
But whatever, it's okay the way it ended up.
I have a quick little quote to read that's kind of in line with all this stuff. This is when she is talking to a man. I don't think he's very important. I think he's just like part of the he's a guard captain. And she says, I need your cloak and your tunic at once. His eyes narrowed, and I could see the reflexive no in them. I would come to know this type of man, jealous of his little power, to whom I was only a woman. And I was just like, wow, that is still relevant today, like, how dare you ask me something? Why? I don't understand you. You're like, all this crap. Inside, she's just like, I know way more than you, bitch. Like, can you just do what I asked, please, promptly?
Yeah. I'm old as hell.
I'm old as hell. I've seen it all.
My dad is the sun, okay?
God, he truly was so
disgusting.
Terrible too.
Yeah.
And just like not terrible to Circe, like not just terrible to Circe, but terrible to everyone around him. Like just classic Greek god, like just worried about, pumping out more kids and just doing, I guess, I don't know how he fills his days.
Running around the sun or running around being the sun. I don't know how that
raising
works.
those big old cows so that people can like have impure thoughts about them, I guess.
Well,
and
didn't they say he fucks them? That's how he makes more.
That's what her brother and sister said.
Sorry, I got overwhelmed by that statement. I think you're right.
I don't know, but
because
it's weird.
Then he got mad because those guys ate the cows, and he's like, what am I supposed to have sex with if you eat all of them?
My wife?
Disgusting.
Not anymore, because they can't make any more dangerous children.
Yeah, right. And she was all upset because she didn't get any more necklaces.
Oh, yeah.
Why is it that her children specifically were the ones who turned out to have the witch power?
They think it's from her.
Mm-hmm.
But like, was she witchy? She sucked.
I don't think she was, because she was just like happy to sit on her throne and have sex, which I mean, fair, but like,
so she could have been witchy, but she never explored that part of herself.
She didn't have the will.
She didn't have the space or the solitude or the will.
Yeah. Who was her mom again?
Or the way.
Perse.
Yeah, I think that sounds right.
Because she named her son after her, Persis. I was thinking of Thetis, but Thetis was Achilles' mom.
She really did feel like Thetis, though, in my head.
Oh,
like
Thetis. I heard fetus. I was like, wow, that's unfortunate. Okay.
I think all moms in Greek mythology are Thetis, just with different names.
Yeah. I can't refute that. I don't have a PhD in Greek mythology.
Someone come at me is from Hercules, the Disney movie. Well, that's not true. Theater school, you get a little bit of some background here. Like Medea, I was like, woo-hoo! When she came up, I was like, here we go. I want a book about her because
I felt so sad for her though. Like talk about like tamping your power down to like impress the person that you're with who's not all that impressive.
I didn't know anything about her. I was shocked when they were like, Jason leaves her for another, like headlines. Breaking news. Jason leaves Medea for another woman. Medea surprises him by killing his children.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a play called Medea, and it is wild. It is wild.
I'm sure it is.
My stomach just grumbled so loudly. I'm so sorry.
Oh, that's okay. There's a play about Penelope, too, the Penelopiad.
Yes.
Penelopiad, which I think is by Margaret Atwood.
Oh,
it is, yes.
I did read that when I was in school. That place you go that you spend a lot of money
school,
at.
Yes.
I love La 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 School.
But not law school. Don't get it confused with that.
School.
Heck no. I object.
What, like it's hard? Obligatory Elle Woods reference for the episode. Okay, good, check.
Also, little side story here. What? Scott and I tried to watch the first Medea movie, or Medea, the Tyler Perry.
Oh, the Tyler Perry one. Because you thought it was Greek mythology.
Well, no. I knew it was not, but I was like, I'm curious. Did he take any inspiration? I will say,
research.
Well, it is extremely over the top, so who fucking knows? But I did not finish it because Scott was like, I can't do this. And I was like, I'm having a great time laughing. But wasn't for me. But I would recommend the play, Medea. by Sophocles or Euripides. I don't remember who.
Oh, old classic play. Classical.
Oh, yes.
The classic.
Shit goes down, as you now know, Nikki. Like, it is
Boom.
wild. So
Yeah.
it is like one of the best roles you can get as a woman because
Also, why is there so many crazy names and then just Jason?
I know.
Like,
Jason
what the fuck?
Derulo. That's all I could picture. I just pictured Jason like walking in.
I just always think about how when you put the initials of all the months together, it spells Jason.
Yes.
July, August, September, October, November.
Oh.
Very strange.
It is. It is so
I thought you
weird.
meant all the months, and I was like January, February, March, April, and I'm like, that does not spell Jason.
No, just partway through, it's just like hidden, you know, just like a fun little Easter egg. What?
January, February, March, April, Jafama, May, Jafama.
Okay, it took me a second, but yes, agreed.
We are so educated. Well, I'll speak for myself. I have a certificate. I'm working on a diploma.
That's great, and we love that.
I am a learned woman, as that meme says. I've read Ice Planet Barbarians 1 and 2 and all of Madeline Miller's books. So take that.
And honestly, I'll probably read 3 and 4 of Ice Planet Barbarians. It
Yeah.
just like they get you. They get you.
It's true though. I don't know how, but I have a good time every time.
Right?
I know.
It's become
I
almost
still
a
don't know-
Christmas tradition.
Honestly, that's fun.
Yeah,
Traditions are fun.
They
they are.
I don't think my in-laws will want to partake. That's okay.
This can be just for us. Just the
Just for the
BYOB
girls.
fans.
I think
Yeah.
that's for the best.
Yeah.
Oh my god. My mom was gonna read from Blood and Ash, and I was like, okay, like, I hope you enjoy, but I also just don't want to hear about her getting to the steamy parts because,
Why would
Yeah.
she tell you that? Would she tell you that?
well, she
Well,
did
she-
read. You're gonna say what I was gonna say. She read It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover, and she
And
said
she
to
thought
me,
it was borderline pornography or
Yeah.
something.
she was like,
Oh.
it was okay, but there were parts that were almost pornographic, and I was like, oh boy. Well,
Have I got news for you, Mom?
she also bought an Anna Huang book, and I'm like,
I just read one of those. and
Yeah.
that is what that is.
I
It was pretty fun though. I liked it.
oh yeah, I'm just like, I'm not gonna touch that. I don't want to hear about it. I am just hoping that she bought it and it's gonna sit in her shelf for years, and then she'll be like, oh, why did I buy this? I never read it. I'm gonna donate it. Like, great, good for you.
I hope she reads it and she has a great time.
I hope she does, but I don't want to hear about it.
No, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's all. But anyways,
bit of a tangent.
I don't know if you both have heard this. I feel like you must have, but in case anyone listening hasn't heard of this, Madeline Miller has been working on a Persephone book,
I have not heard this.
I believe, but for
Oh.
years, and she got long COVID.
Oh, no.
So, yes, so I don't know how she's doing, number one. Hopefully she's doing okay. But number two, I don't know when it would come out, but I know there's been a lot of Persephone books, but I don't care because Madeline Miller will do
She'll do
magical
it justice.
things. Yeah, like I feel like she'll go from the very beginning, which we don't always get. And I feel like she would do just an amazing job. I would read anything she wrote, honestly.
Same.
Like,
And she takes forever to write books anyway, and I think like it really shows in
Yeah.
how beautiful her books are.
definitely. Did either of you read the short story?
No, not yet, but I have
Is
a
that
copy.
Galatea?
Yes. However, it's said, I'm not sure, but yes.
Yeah, I borrowed it from you.
Oh, okay.
It was so nice. Yeah, you lent it to me the same time you lent me all the Tea Dragon books, and I read all 4 of them in one day.
Yeah.
In one day? Oh my god, the emotions.
It's right.
Yeah.
It's extremely short, Tilly. The book is like
I know.
So tiny. and
tiny,
cute.
a little pocket sized, and it's beautiful. And it is what inspired Pygmalion. It's that myth, and it's so good.
Oh.
I think you'll love it.
I probably will.
It's so
but I need
good.
to take a break from Madeline Miller and books that make me upset.
Right?
Facts.
Yeah, you know, like, no shade to Madeline Miller because we love you, but like, could you write something a little more happy, a little more uplifting?
No, I don't think she can, and that's okay, and that's what we love about her.
I think that's what also makes it really nice, actually, that she does have so much time between her books, because you have a little bit of time to forget how much the last one really hit you in the heart.
Ooh,
And then you pick up the next one and you can be like, bam, all over again.
Yeah.
But I kind of do now want to read the Song of Achilles over again.
Even just you saying that, literally my eyes teared up.
Right? There are certain parts of that book that I still think of. People, you know how there's what's your Roman Empire?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
The Song of Achilles is my Roman Empire.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
See, I feel like a stony bitch because I did not cry for that one. I was like, this is so sad.
Oh my god.
And it touched
young
me,
love.
but I gave it a 3.5.
Young hopeless love.
You gave Song of Achilles
Written
3.5?
beautifully.
I did. I
I didn't
did.
remember that.
Yeah.
No, I don't
yeah.
either.
I did because I don't know. I liked it, but I don't know. But I loved Circe 5 to 5. I bawled at the end. The ending, I just Telemachus, that's the guy.
Yeah.
The way he was with her, or the way she like envisioned it happening, because it is a little ambiguous. It's like she has a vision of all these possibilities, I guess, but we don't
Yeah.
know if her spell worked and if she did become mortal, but I think she did.
Yeah.
Spoiler. But the way that Telemachus treats her and supports her and tells her it's going to be okay, I was like, that's Scott, and he's so sweet. I freaking love him. I was just like, this is so heartwarming and touching and also just devastating. But I'm not okay. I feel like I have a lot of feelings in real life, so I don't like to read books that make me feel a lot of the times, because I'm like, I need a break. I'm trying to escape from all the feelings.
Right.
Yeah.
This
I get that.
ending, yes, this ending, I felt all the things, but it made me, it's one of those books where you feel, or at least I felt, just like happy to be here. You know what I mean? It was like life affirming in a way. It was like heartwarming.
Aw.
It was just all the feelings. And I was like, wow, Madeline, you are one little sneaky bitch.
Yeah, put that on her books. Have you seen those really beautiful copies of Song of Achilles and Circe that are like kind of foiled with the hardcovers?
Yes.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I think they're the UK versions.
so
Of
pretty.
course.
Yeah.
We can't ever have anything nice here.
Well, I will say, I do like the cover I have with her face.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
I really
that's
like it
nice.
too.
Yeah. And everyone was...
I just have it on as an ebook, but yeah.
Okay.
Same.
Well, everyone... Oh, there's a map in here. Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh my god!
Wow, now I know where we are. Jeez.
Thank God.
On Ayaya.
Greece. Ay, ay, ay.
Hey, every time I just thought of my big fat Greek wedding. Hi-ya-ya. You know? I was like, hi, Grandma. Hi-ya-ya.
I tried to see. Listen, I tried to watch My Big Fat Greek Wedding not too long ago. I couldn't find it anywhere. This is why DVDs are important. I love DVDs.
I wanted to watch it like a month ago so bad that
Yeah.
I subscribed to Apple TV and rented it on Apple TV just to watch it.
Oh, my
And?
God.
It was
Was it worth
great.
it?
Yeah. But like I don't have Apple TV. I don't watch anything on there, but I spent an exorbitant amount of money just to watch this movie one time.
That's what I worry about. Like, this is another tangent, but that's what I worry. I have so many DVDs at my disposal, and it's people make fun of me, but I'm like, I never want to be without Seven Brides or Seven Brothers.
Yes.
Right? Do you know what like when I want to watch it, I want to watch it.
Exactly. Yeah, I have DVDs of things that I can't really find because, you know, yeah, I need Seven Brides for Seven Brothers. And I have a lot of older musicals that you can't just find on
Yeah, same.
Netflix, you know?
Yep.
The 1945 classic Anchors Away.
Yes.
I need that on hand.
Yes. Take me out to the ball game
Absolutely.
with oh my god. The swimmer lady. Oh my god. Estelle Williams? Esther Williams? Esther Williams. Estelle. Who is she? I don't know. Esther Williams and Gene Kelly.
I haven't seen that one.
It's good. It's super cute.
You have it on DVD?
Yes, I do.
Can we watch it together?
Yes.
Another musical night?
I would love that. We could watch the one where Debbie Reynolds is a football and she gets tossed around on stage. That one's really silly. It's called I Love Melvin.
Seen that. but I've
Donald
seen that
O'Connor's in it
clip.
too.
Oh my god.
Love it. I mean, do I want to be tossed around like a football? Maybe.
Depending on who's doing the tossing.
Exactly.
Am
And
I
the catching.
right, ladies?
And the catching.
Right. 'Cause the one who tosses isn't always the one who catches.
Yes. I don't want to be
I
spiked
think
to the ground.
it never is.
That's sports.
Anyways, I was gonna say, I love my cover.
So sorry. Yes, I love your cover too.
I love it because they always talk about how ugly she is. And I think this cover's beautiful.
It is beautiful.
And I think she's beautiful. You know, like,
yeah.
I mean, listeners, you can't see it, but.
Do you guys know the Zelda game? I think that it's Wind Waker, the little
Yes.
bird girl.
Yes.
No, I haven't played Wind Waker.
I'll send you a picture, but basically she is what I pictured as Circe the whole time. It's not good. It's not flattering, but they're just talking about her voice being screechy as a kid, and then I just pictured this like bird child from Wind Waker the whole time.
Isn't it funny what our little brains conjure up for us?
Right?
I was thinking about the specific color of purple that my costume as Calypso in my university production of the Odyssey. And that's the reference that I had. Just the color purple.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought Fred and George Weasley, I thought one of them was black when I read it as a kid. Even though they have ginger
sorry?
hair and they're identical twins.
Well,
Yeah.
you know.
Our brains are wonderful things.
When I saw the movie,
way-
I was like, who is that? I was like, George was supposed to be black. I don't get it.
I don't know how to explain that to you.
Okay, I have a question to
Yeah.
wrap us up, I think.
Yeah.
Because I feel like we're starting to descend into madness, which I love, but...
But Nikki hates.
No, I'm leaving all this in.
Oh, great.
My question to you both is, if there were any myth, legend, whatever, that Madeline Miller could write a book on, what would you want her to write about? It could be Norse, it could be Celtic, Greek, anything. What would you like her to do? Because she is one talented woman.
Oh, I would want her to write the story of Queen Maeve, the pirate queen. That would be good. Pillaging people,
That would be.
sleeping around, getting what she wants. Hell yeah.
I think that's amazing.
Yeah.
I think I would want to see her take on like an Arthurian legend.
Oh, yeah.
Like have some druids in there, like
Oh,
some
yeah.
round table,
Lady
like some
of
Guinevere
Shalott.
stuff. Yeah. I feel like that would be really good.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. Okay, I want to read both of those. I feel like I think it would be cool for her to take maybe like a Grimm or a oh my gosh, what's his name? Christian Andersen. If she took one of the lesser known fairy tales, that could be cool too, because yeah, I love the dark stories.
Yeah.
And she's really good at like teasing out a story from like a lesser known or like less talked about or less acknowledged character.
Yes. Oh my God, I would read all three of these. In
Oh,
a
yeah.
heartbeat.
Yeah, me too.
Madeline, when
I'd
you're
like it
not
now.
busy. Yeah.
Yeah, I just finished a book, so now's the time for
Right
me,
now.
actually. I'm ready.
She could, well, no. I was gonna say she could do 7 Brides for 7 Brothers. No, because I want that to be steamy, and I think she'll just make it like very lyrical and beautiful. But I'll be like, okay, but what happened?
The only version I want of 7 Brides for 7 Brothers is the version that it is, like the old musical.
Yeah.
I don't want any other version. It's perfect.
Well, Tilly, I think I have the perfect thing for you, actually, because there is a 7 alien brides for 7 alien brothers, or 7 brides for 7 alien brothers series.
Pardon?
Yes. There's an alien romance that's 7 brides for 7 brothers. I have never read it, but I have heard of it. And
is there a barn raising dance sequence?
there has to be.
There has to.
There has to be. If there isn't, it's not 7 brides for 7 brothers. Okay.
It's not canon.
No. Do they go courting? Doesn't count.
They better be. I will be slowly and quickly adding that to my TBR. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome, everyone. Are we ready to
Nikki
wrap
just
up?
sent us the picture of the burger.
Wait, where?
On our messenger chat.
Oh, I didn't see. I don't have it
my
open. Okay, I'm opening. And then I'll wrap up after.
Okay. Yes, that
We'll cut
is
this part
not
out.
exactly the vibe that I was going for.
Okay, it's opening. I'm like dying to see this. Because I've seen bits of the game, but I didn't play it.
She's cute though.
Oh my god, this is taking so long.
And she's
I'm
a
like,
bird, the sky, Helios.
No. She has like a duck bill.
Yeah, she's a bird.
Oh my god.
That hair.
She's part of
that's
the
a
Rito.
long ponytail. Wow. Okay. If only we could put pictures in our show notes. Be like, this is what Nikki thought Circe looked like. Wow. Okay. I mean, we can neither confirm nor deny that that's what she looked like. So we weren't there. Thank you so much for joining us today, and thank you, Tilly, for joining us today to talk about this beautiful, beautiful book. To keep...
I loved it.
Sorry.
Thank you for having me.
To keep up to date on all of our bookish antics, you can follow us on Instagram at BYO Book Podcast or TikTok. What? Is that wrong?
No.
Oh, I thought you shook your head. I was like,
No, I was going like this.
oh.
I'm just dancing.
Okay, sorry. To keep up to date on all of our bookish antics, you can follow us on Instagram at BYO Book Podcast or TikTok at Bring Your Own Book Podcast. Stay tuned for the beginning of our next read, which is the extremely highly anticipated Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros, which is the second book in the Empyrean series. Until next time, keep on drinking in great stories. Cheers!
Next time on BYOB, the Bring Your Own Book Podcast. Revolution tastes oddly sweet.